digital sheen, open in range, his weapon so keen. He's the structured trader, a market machine. Bank moves, he mimics, he plays their game. Near a version, glory is his claim to fame. Market structure king, watch him do his thing. Pips and points, the profits sing. Trading like the banks, he's in control. Leads the master filling his bankroll. Leads the master filling his bankroll. His mind's a map of supply and demand, turning charts to gold with a steady hand. Forex flows like rivers in his plan. Aces bow to the market man. Break out at the open, the strategy's tight. Position for the swing.
Afternoon. How are you all doing? Sorry I'm late. I completely forgot to schedule the streams this week. So yeah, that's stupid. Just a quick update on a couple of things before I get going. There's an issue with MQL5. So if you have updated to the beta version of MT5, they've screwed up the favicon system. So virtually everything that works in MT5 that uses arrows and symbols uses favicons. Not favicons, sorry, wingdings. So they've in the beta version, the wingdings don't work. So can't do anything about that. They've screwed it up. They need to update it. So if you are, as I am on my other terminals, using the latest release version, absolutely fine, works no problem. But if you upgrade to beta, it'll break. Don't upgrade to beta. Don't use MT5, use MT4. But no problems. Nothing in MT4 doesn't work. Everything works. Anyway, so just an update on that. Can't do anything about it. It will not access wingdings. So, yeah, MQL5 Marketplace. Right. So today we've got no news. It's a bank holiday in Japan. That's your news. Obviously, everything's kicking off with the US. They're invading every other country, blowing everybody up, stealing stuff, killing people, usual stuff. So goodness knows what's going to happen this week, but keep your eyes peeled on Trump. So dollar's gone south today. Market obviously not very happy with Mr. Trump. We've had quite a nice big drop on the dollar. US dollar Swiss down to 150 ADR. So a few moves on the markets this morning, early, but we'll see what happens. Morning Ladder, morning Fletch, morning Mumo. How are we all doing? Afternoon even. I've forgotten what time of the day it is. We've got loads of like blank spaces in news this week. We've literally got US dollar CPI tomorrow, obviously massive news. PPI doesn't really do a lot. Purchasers price index doesn't do much. Retail sales doesn't do much on Wednesday. And then on Thursday, we've got pound GDP and unemployment claims for the US. That's it. There's no news this week. It's literally CPI tomorrow and then forget it. So markets this week will be all over the place with normal price action, but there's nothing fundamentally that's going to drive the markets apart from CPI tomorrow. So we could, if we get a negative number on that, have a nice dip in the dollar tomorrow, which could continue for days, maybe even weeks. So bear that in mind. Other than that, there's nothing much else happening. DAX this morning, if you were trading the DAX, very nice, easy money today. Just get my pen open. So DAX today, we broke long. The initial break long, I actually cancelled. If you're in the member stream this morning, the 5-minute ORB today, I actually closed it out because I didn't like the way that we were rejecting Friday's high and these wicks. So I decided to exit that. The 30-minute opening range break got replaced by the EA, and that one's worked. So if you took that, fine. If not, you got that anyway. So yeah, really easy money on the DAX today. Couldn't help but just bank on that. So we'll see how we go with the US markets this afternoon. Dow Jones won't be taking that. Dow Jones has just put in almost 50% of its average daily range within one 5-minute candle. Absolute collapse. So won't be trading that one today. No trade on the Dow. The Dow's been doing this every day, hasn't it? Every day on the Dow, we've had these huge moves at the open. It's been really, really volatile for the last week. So carrying on that vein today. NASDAQ, same story. No trade there. We're over 40% of the average daily range. If you want to press the buy button, go for it. But looks like it's going for the gap fill. I'll have a look at these with the proper levels in a minute. Gold, there is a 5-minute ORB on, which is just 15% of ADR. So we'll take a trade on gold. But other than that, there's no opening range breakout trades today. Markets explosive at the open, to say the least. Wow. Right. So there's the DAX today. I've got a short on the DAX at the moment, which I actually don't like the look of now. I shorted up here. We'll see. I'm going to leave that one running. So let's have a quick look at the US markets and the statistics on those. So on the Dow, that is your previous close all the way up there. So we've got a large space basically up to that gap close from Friday. Globex high, we basically dropped straight away from Globex. Obviously, the market's been tanking for the dollar. So this could well be just a fake move down before they come up and do that gap close. Statistically, we've got a gap today of 269, which is 65% of the session range and 59% of the average daily range. So that's a big gap. They do fill 77% of the time though. So that's a high probability close there. So it's not a bad looking long, but the speed of that move down today, I'd be wanting a little bit more confirmation that the bulls are in control, because that's a hell of a sell-off, isn't it? So there is a probability of a gap fill on that. There have not been in the last 100 days any gaps of that size that have closed inside as we have today. Opened inside. So there's no statistics on that at all. So really all you've got to go on, previous close being hit 81% of the time. So it's probable that that is going to come up to that previous close today. We will see. S&P, previous close, it's on its way. Statistically, that should get hit as well. NASDAQ's there pretty much. So there's your previous close. We've only had one day the same. So previous close completed 70% of the time. But again, we don't get gaps this big that often. So difficult, but it's doing it. So once that gap's closed, that could go absolutely anywhere. What a mess today, eh? You can't really do much with that at the open. So I would wait for that gap to close, and then we'll see what price action does after that. But it's a bit of a mess today, isn't it? There's a lot of ADRs already today. We've had obviously this US dollar drop dramatically. So the US dollar Swiss, as you can see, is 150 ADR. I said to the members this morning, I didn't fancy a bounce play off of this today. That move there is an ADR basically. So the market really heavily sold off the dollar, not wanting to keep risk on the dollar with what Trump's doing. He seems very reckless at the moment. But anyway, so we sold off hard into ADR. We dropped. So you got a reversal in there. There was a reversal alert there as well. So that would have been your W. But as you can see, we haven't really gone anywhere off the back of that. This, the market's not really keen on the dollar today, as you would expect. We've also got the euro US dollar, so that went 175 ADR to the upside. You've just had a reversal on that as well, off of the double top. So you had a nice reversal alert going in there. There was also one there. So that was your M today. But again, we did very much the same thing, but we have broken down now. So watch this. This is where the market is buying up at the moment and going against the dollar. If we pull back into propulsion here or here, and then we start to come back down again, i.e. make a lower high, that is potentially going to be a breakdown. So potentially some strength coming into the US dollar. But as you can see from the Swiss franc pairs, if you look at the Swissy today, everything down against the Swiss franc today, indicating potentially we might be going into a safe haven run, although it does seem a little bit sideways now. It looks more sideways than it did this morning, a lot more sideways than it did this morning. So very difficult to tell what exactly is going on today, but market just volatile, as you can see from the indices. They are really, really not sure what to do at the moment with this dollar. It's a bit scary. Euro yen is an ADR an RSI on the 4 hour. So we're extended to the upside. Euro yen, I'm short on this one. First entry was actually taken, it was this morning, wasn't it? Yeah. First entry in that this morning. The pound yen is also extended. These are both very similar pairs, so I would probably take one or the other. Nice downside target on that one, but nicely extended. Again, you may find with this yen weakness, we just go into a couple of weeks of accumulation, but see what happens. That was over the Christmas period, so unlikely to do the same again. DAX is extended. I've got sorry, it's the wrong terminal. Yeah, on my position trader account, I've got 5 shorts now. 5th short taken on the DAX today. There we go. So 5th one gone in on that one today. This is now 12 days solid. Higher highs, higher lows on the DAX. This thing, I said about this in the members stream this morning. This is really a high level candidate for a pullback now. So I'm trying to get shorts on this for that correction. That is your low. We haven't had a correction put in at all since we left there on the 17th of December. So 50% retracement very much on the cards on this one. As you can see, extended and embedded on the RSI, which does happen on indices. But yeah, nice potential for a drop on that at the moment. So have shorts on that one. That's nice extended on the 4 hour. It's also extended on the hourly as well. Embedded as well. We have been embedded for days. New Zealand yen is also extended, Swiss yen and Aussie yen. So weakness in the yen today. Further weakness in the yen. That is not indicative of a safe haven run. So it looked this morning like we were pulling money out of the US dollar and putting it into the Swiss. But we didn't get that follow through on the yen. So we'll see what happens. But there's lots of opportunities to get in, but they're all yen pairs. So just take one, maybe two. At the moment, I've got exposure on the right terminal. I've got exposure on the euro yen and the US yen short, just singles at the moment. So nothing particularly in bad drawdown apart from DAX. But I mean, one move down on the DAX and that'll be sorted. So can't believe they've done that. It's absolutely typical of MQL5, isn't it? A MetaTrader. Just buggy. That's why you use MT4. So NASDAQ, we've just stalled out on the 10-minute. So your 15-minute candle's going in. Looks like it's potentially going to be an outside bar. Maybe, maybe not. No. So high, low again. So we're just stalling out at the minute, close to that previous close. I wouldn't want to short it until we've done that. We'll test that previous close and then see what the market does from there. But high probability of that getting hit. Afternoon watch check. How are we doing? Some people are in the morning, some people are in the afternoon. Usual stuff. So we're pulling back potentially into the Globex high. So there's a potential long opportunity on that Globex high, although the Globex high today pretty much was the open. So what we're really saying here is we're going to retest the open from Globex potentially before we go up. But just stalling out a little bit here at the minute on the NASDAQ. DOW has corrected that, so that DOW trade up to the previous close looks good. DAX doing. I'm going to stop out on that DAX. Looks like the market's going to go long at the open. Afternoon Baggy. I hate these new names. I really wish what they should do at YouTube is they should give you the option of either having names or your handles, one or the other. Yeah, shouldn't force people just to use one type of name. Very annoying, especially when they've shifted from one to the other, because you get to know everybody by their name and then all of a sudden they change their name. Very annoying. Right, so inside bar forming on the Dow. Still got 3 minutes left on this candle, so but we're back above the open. Mixed though, we're below the session moving average. Obviously because we've opened down, but I still like a look at that gap fill today. Yeah, you can see we've only had 4 gaps which have been a similar size to this. 71% of the average daily range on the NASDAQ. They don't normally fill, but they don't normally put in 40% of ADR at the open either, do they? So, bit of an anomalous day. If anybody's got any pairs specifically they want to look at, let me know. I'm not going to go through all the pairs. I went through the pairs in the member stream this morning. Obviously, ADRs you want to have a look at. RSI extensions we've kind of covered. There's nothing else today. New Zealand CAD is the only thing that isn't yen related, really, that is potentially getting close to entry. We're up at 70. We're up at a lovely double top as well. So we've got a double top here, which looks again like it is stalling out. So we did put in a market structure higher low there, but that doesn't mean we're not going to just come straight back down and either retest that level or come back down into here. So there is a short opportunity on New Zealand dollar CAD at that high. Failing that, coming up into this propulsion move here, which is 175 ADR. So you can take a first entry there if you're position trading to get out. That's nicely extended. Not quite as far as I want it to be, but it's getting there, and it does look like it's rejected again. But we are sort of indecision at the moment. Where we are now on the hourly, we've got another 10 minutes left on this candle. Pending order under that low there. So if this is turning into a very weird looking 3-bar reversal, if you short the low of that candle, you got a lot of room to the downside and a very nice tight stop. Very high risk reward trade. So targeting back down to those lows is nearly 9 to 1 where we are at the moment. But if you put a pending order on that below that low. You're looking at around about 4-1 for that short. Obviously, it could go all the way down there, but if that double top is going to hold, you should really form a range here, if not break down. So that low should be an easy target to hit, which is just a previous day's low. So pretty good for a quick short entry if you fancied one. Look at that NASDAQ. Okay, so previous close complete. Well, we'll be in a second. So there's your gap fill. Not statistically, really. We just don't get gaps that big normally, do we? So can't really call that from a statistical advantage, but Dow is stalling out here. Might find that now we've done that gap fill. We're not quite there on the S&P yet, but it's close. NASDAQ straight into the previous close. Obviously, market selling that previous close immediately when we got to it. So we'll see how strong these buyers really are today, because they're going to meet some selling price action there. So that might be a nice trade back down into the Globex highs for a quick short. Tell where this is going to go today. Right, so long on gold on the 5-minute opening range break. So if this dollar is going to continue to weaken today, we'll see a rally in gold. So not a bad little trade idea there. If you're looking at upside, it's kind of sky's the limit at the moment. So obviously gold, we're at all-time highs. So it's again, we are out in new territory. There's no real way of measuring when this will stop. It will just go until we run out of steam. So if you look at the last move that we've had on this, which is basically today, is that leg up there before we pulled back. So if you look at a measured move off of that and assume that we're going to just put in sort of market structure continuation, we could be looking at 200 ADR today. But realistically, if you look at the pullback, which is from that high back down into this low, that's where you should be getting up to 46.46, around about 150 ADR, just shy of that. That's a potential good upside target today. Yeah, partial's well within that range, so I'll leave that where it is. But no other trades today. No trades on the NASDAQ, no trades on the Dow. No way we're getting into that. It's absolutely huge. So we've already done well over 50% of the average daily range within the first 15 minutes. It's big, big move. DAX back up and retesting high of the day. Nice rejection wick there on the DAX. Lower low, lower high, but bull candle. So bulls are still hitting this level. Wedge. We break through that. We've got a little bit more of a pop out the top to come. Tricky old morning today. Okay, so there's your short. If we're just doing the gap fill and we're going to run out of steam, that's a nice little short play there. 3R. Just going to wait and see what that candle does. It's going to remain bullish or not. All we can do today. Horrible when you get this big open and you've got such a strong move. The market tends to go into a little bit of an exhaustion mode quite often. You just don't really get any follow through. Very difficult to tell though with what's going on in the world at the moment. Trump to interview a rider for the Fed chair position. Interview will be this week. Okay, 2.5 minutes left on this candle. We're painting an inside bar at the moment. So if we stay inside bar, I'm going to look to take a short and just see if we can get a pullback into some of this price action on the NASDAQ. That was still flying. Look. S&P, it's just filled previous day's close gap. Not one bear candle in sight there. Gold struggling as well to get out the highs. Okay, nice rejection there. Right, I go short on the NASDAQ. Little bit early, got 30 seconds left on this candle. Might be proved wrong on this one, but we've rejected that session moving average. We've rejected the previous close and we're closing with an inside bar. So buyers unable to make any progress over the last 5 minutes. See if this is an exhaustion point and we can get a quick scalp down into that Globex high. It'll either pop from here or it'll just float around probably. But okay, so S&P's also rejected at the previous close. Dow's looking a little bit stronger. Was it a good trading year? Yeah, not too bad. Probably not the best, but it was okay. Position trading was good. ORB ruined in December, basically. We had a terrible month in December. ORB just market just would not break. So happens. You have to go through the dips. So this propulsion gap here, holding the market up at the moment. So I want to see this break and hold down below that level, down below this propulsion move. We've got very, very few, I mean, there's just one bear candle at the moment, but there's a lot of upside wick rejection in the last 10 minutes. So either the sellers that are holding this level are going to break and they're just going to keep buying this up and push through, or this is exhaustion here, and we'll break that level, and then we'll see the market just turn tail and pull back. See where we go. Did you manage to collect my car? I did manage to collect my car, yeah. It is on my drive. The weather wasn't that bad. I went up to collect a car on Friday from about 4 hours away on the train. It's about 170 miles away, basically. But obviously there were storms everywhere and snow and wind. But where I collected it from, it was just a bit of rain. It was windy. But yeah, all came back fine. So 12 hours on the road on the train and driving. But it's an electric car, so it drove itself home. Mostly. Okay, so we've got lower low going in. We're putting in a lower high at the moment. So we've got 2 minutes left on this candle. We are still buying this propulsion up though. Sellers unable to make any progress on this. So we'll see where we close on this candle. But if this closes bearish, we'll see a lot more selling price action coming in. So this whole area here, sellers at the minute. There's the buyers gone. So we had a nice quick pop through there. Likely took some stops out, but we'll see if sellers can break through that propulsion. So that propulsion gap's gone, but we want to see this close bearish. So that is a very uneven, very untidy 3-bar reversal. So there's your push, there's your pause, inside bar, and this is your pull. But I want to see us close at least below the low of that wick. Ideally, we want to see us close below that propulsion gap. We've got 1 minute left. If this closes bullish, that is basically 2 indecision candles. So there's no saying the sellers are taking control at all here. But we are closing fairly bearish, so we'll see. New car? No, I didn't get a Tesla. I got in a Volvo. A Volvo. I've gone from Porsche to BMW to Peugeot and now to Volvo. I've never owned a Volvo before. But I'll show you the Volvo I've got and then you'll understand why I've got it. That's the reason I've got it. 0 to 60 in 3.6 seconds. I've had a 911 C2S, a 911 C4S and a Boxster. That is faster than all the Porsches I've owned. And it's a Volvo. Safety as well. So yeah. Huge horsepower, 428 brake. Well, you can't really call it 428 brake, can you? It's the equivalent 428 brake because it's electric. But yeah, it's nice, quick. Quick, smooth, deadly silent, amazing sound system. It's got a Harman Kardon sound system in it as well, which is phenomenal. I've probably the best sound system I've ever had in a car, to be honest. This entire front of the car is a sound bar there. There you go, look. So the whole front of the car is a speaker and a subwoofer. Very cool. So yeah, got one of them. The only thing about it that I'm unsure about at the moment is there's no dashboard at all. It's literally the same as a Tesla. It's just a screen. So your speedo is there. Obviously, my steering wheel's on the other side. So your speedo's there. And all the controls are on there. So you've got indicators and the gears. Well, not gears, park and reverse on the stick. But other than that, there's literally nothing. And this thing here is the car watching you. So it watches your eyes. If you're paying too much attention to the screen, it bongs at you, turns the radio off and says, "Oi, watch where you're going, drive." And if you yawn, which I'm going to do in a minute because I just used the word yawn. If you yawn, it goes, "You look like you need a rest. Shall I schedule a stop for you on our journey?" And it will find a petrol station for you to pull over at and get a coffee. Very clever. And obviously it does all the self-driving stuff as well. But yeah, very cool. Very minimalist as well, as you can see. There's nothing in it. So yes, got one of them. Very happy with it. Very quick. You can't not be happy with a car that does 0 to 60 in 3.6 seconds. It's one of those things you never get bored of. And it doesn't cost me £2,000 a year just to keep it on the drive like the Porsche did. Literally, that car, every time it went into the garage, even if it was just for an MOT, which it would pass, the Porsche technicians would go, "Your brakes are getting a little bit rusty," or "This is a little bit that." No, it's £2,000, please. Every time it went in the garage. I never came out with a bill less than £2,000 with the Porsche. That thing, it's all covered for 3 years. Nothing to pay for 3 years. No MOTs, no servicing. They even pay for your tyres and your brakes for the first 3 years, up to 60,000. Go Volvo. Anyway, and they all look the same now. It doesn't matter what the brand is, does it? They all look exactly the same. They've all got futuristic looks. They're all minimalist inside. They've all got screens and they all go really quick. So it doesn't really matter what the badge is on it. They're all the same car at the end of the day, aren't they? And they're owned by Geely, which is a Chinese company. So basically everything's owned by China. It's probably spying on me, I know, but hey, what the hell. Right, so there's your 3-bar reversal. Push, pause, pull. Not a great 3-bar reversal because we didn't get exhaustion on the middle candle, but that's a nice close below that propulsion gap. So if candle 8 comes in with a lower low and a lower high, we'll see the buyers start to think twice about holding their positions and we'll start to chop them away. So there's a good chance this might pull back, but it is holding up pretty well at the moment. See where we go. The heater in electric cars is instantly hot, so that's good in snowstorms. Yep. And also it's got heated steering wheel and heated seats, and it's got that thing where you go on the app, you go, "I'm going to go for a drive in 15 minutes," and you press a button and it warms the car up, defrosts it, puts your heats on, it just climatizes the car as well, which is amazing. So when it's cold and frosty and horrible in the morning, the car wakes itself up basically. And it warms the battery as well, because you have this thing with electric cars. When the batteries are cold, they have reduced range and reduced performance. So it warms the batteries up for 15 minutes before you drive it, so that you get into the car and it's fully ready to go. Go electric. Love electric. Sweden, quality car, yes. Is it Volvo or Geely? I don't know what the chassis is. I mean, they're owned by Geely. So if you look at this Smart 3, yeah, which is this, that is the same chassis as the Volvo EX30. So my car basically is a Smart 3, which is also owned by Geely. They use the same chassis, but the 0 to 60 is nowhere near as fast on the smart cars. But that's the same chassis. I don't know whether it's a Volvo chassis. I would imagine it's a Geely chassis. I don't know. They're all the same. This is the thing with electric cars now. They've got so much in common. There's so many parts. Like the batteries in the EX30 are made by some company in China that also provide long-range batteries for about 7 or 8 different brands. So the batteries aren't Volvos. The chassis is probably not Volvos. I went to look at, actually, I test drove one of these as well. A JQ7, which basically is a Range Rover. It's a Japanese Range Rover. I test drove one of those. The doors are, the design for the doors is stolen from Tesla. The design for the rear, JQ employed a Range Rover design technician, and he designed the back of the car, so it looks like a Range Rover. The gears, the sticks, and the dials are Mercedes. You know, everything is a bodge now, isn't it? With cars, they're just all bodged together. Yeah, that beautiful looking car. Inside, it's immaculate. It's very luxurious inside, but when you drive it, it's like driving a ship. Yeah, so you're sitting up really high. You've got this big steering wheel in front of you. You go around a corner and you get thrown to the right, and you come back to the middle, and then you go right and you go over there. It's like they've because this is only 30 grand. What they've done is they've spent all the money on the design and the technology and the luxury inside, but they've completely forgotten about suspension. Awful. It was literally, as soon as I got in, I was like, oh, this feels nice. And then I went round a corner and the kids went in the back, they went, and they were like, what did you do that for? I was like, I didn't, I just turned. It's terrible. So if you can get one of these and then change the suspension, you're fine. But yeah, really nice inside. I loved it. We all loved it from a car. We loved it, loved the look of it, loved the inside of it. Brilliant. But awful to drive. And what do you spend 90% of your time in the car doing? Driving. If it's a crap drive, there's no point in having it, is there? So, yeah. And my Volvo is also 4-wheel drive because it's got 2 motors. So when you put it in performance mode, you're in all-wheel drive as well. So you can go in the snow. What isn't there to love? You can't go wrong. Bullish move coming back in on the NASDAQ. So potentially this is new market structure long coming in. Buyers taking back control. So sellers really not able to gather any steam off the back of that move. So watching that high there. Or rather watching that area as well. So just watching this area here basically just to see if the sellers can hold this area. So if this is going to be an M pattern reversal, that's the move we're looking for. Steering wheel heated is wonderful when you live in the north part of Sweden. Yeah. When you live in the south of England, not actually that important. But it's nice. It's really nice. My BMW didn't have that. It had everything else that this one's got, but it didn't have the heated steering wheel. So that's a new one on me. They're good fun. Is that already wonderful? Is that already wonderful in south of Germany? Not sure what that means. Good quality cars, though. Volvos, obviously, they're very, very safe. Although it has got a battery recall on it already, which I'm aware of. But there's one cell in the battery, basically, that or one module, which potentially can catch fire. So they basically, you know, Volvo are all about safety. They always have been. They're the safest cars out there. Euro NCAP rating is always 5-star. They are super, super safe. So their Chinese battery supplier, basically, they've had to issue a recall on the batteries because 26 of them have caught fire. So there's one cell in the battery which potentially could catch fire. So they've had to recall them all. So mine's on a recall with all of them, but who knows? We'll be fine. When you actually look at the statistics on it, though, it's not actually scary. So there's 26 worldwide that have caught fire. They've sold 130,000 of them. There's 10,500 of them in the UK. So the probabilities of yours being one of those that catches fire is 0.00 something or other. Yeah, you're probably more likely to have a plane crash or a train crash than you are for your EX30 to catch fire. But even so, they've said we can only charge it to 70% for the moment, which is fine. Still gets 200 miles out of it. That's enough. I don't need more than that. I sit in my desk all day long, so I don't exactly commute very far, do I? Okay, so we have closed back at the high of candle 7, which was that first bear move back. So just watching this candle here to see if we're going to close higher. If we are, looks like market structure is actually going long. So we'll see. Might reduce risk down on this a little bit. Can't be an LFP battery. Pass. Don't know what that is. I don't know what technology the battery is. It's there you go. That's all about the recall. Serious fire risk. Talk about blow it up out of all proportion, yeah? 26 out of 130,000 have had a problem. 26. I'm not going to do the maths on it, but it's infinitesimally small. Serious fire risk. Nearly 3,000 Australian EV joiners warned not to fully charge their battery. Not that much of a problem. 12-volt battery. No, certainly not 12 volt, is it? Oh, you're going to get nothing but all this about the battery recall now, are you? God, look at this. It's absolutely full of it. We're all doomed. We're all going to die because we've got an EX30. There it is. There's my battery. That's what it looks like. I don't know what it's made of. Yeah. There you go. Smart cars, basically. So it's basically what it is. I don't know what the battery is, though. I don't pay that much attention. I'm one of these people where basically I haven't got a choice. It is what it is, basically. I like the look of it. It goes really fast. That's all I'm interested in at the end of the day. So, yeah. Okay, so got kind of an ascending wedge pattern forming here. We've got 1 minute left on this candle. It's going bullish again. However, we are not able to get through that level at the moment. So I think probably just going to reduce risk down a little bit, not massively, but just going to take a little bit of risk off. It doesn't look like it's going bear, does it? We might well stay in a range, flip-flop around up here, or just grind gradually northwards. So just going to reduce the risk on it. The Dow has pulled back down into propulsion. And again, they're looking like they're buying this back up. So the market does look pretty strong today. So S&P, very much the same. So it looks like we're going long. Just going to close that out, $80 loss. So long plays today, very, very difficult. So if I want to go long, I want to wait for a pullback. We're not really getting a pullback here. We're just creating an ascending wedge pattern. So this is kind of really a breakout opportunity for longs. So you'd need to pick a sort of a stop somewhere around there if you're going to go long on this. Maybe under candle 8 is the safest place to be. Target wise to the upside, we've got the previous session and daily high and last week's high there, which gives you a 1.4 risk reward ratio. So there's not really enough room to go long today for me. I don't think we're going to get much higher than this high here. So we've got this kind of range forming down here and there for the last 3 days. So if I'm long in this, I have to get a breakout to get a positive R. However, we rejected it. Basically, this is where we closed pretty much on Friday. So not really a great trade setup for me. And I don't really like the look of the short because the short's just stalling out. We're sitting around. It's just nothing to do. Can't really get long and can't really get a short on it today. You can flip a coin and it might work on that type of trade. So there's no real clear price action, is there? It certainly looks more bullish than bearish, but it's really range bound today. Tricky. Does look more long than short though. You could get in with maybe a really tight stop underneath that last candle, and that way you can generate a fairly decent risk reward out of that trade there. Still only 2 to 1, isn't it? Not even 2 to 1. It's not even worth taking. Unless you're an optimist and you think we're going out the highs, which is also possible, obviously. Got plenty of room, but we've done so much ADR on that first candle. I can't see it having a massive runaway day today. Tricky, isn't it? 69 kilowatt NMC nickel manganese cobalt battery, is it? Used in the high performance and extended range versions. That's it. There we go. I have my regular car expert on hand to educate me about my vehicle, which is always good. Made by a company in China who have buggered up the battery. Can't remember the name of the company, but it'll be on those where all these search results about the recall. Sunwoda, they're the people that make the batteries. Sunwoda Electronic. Yeah, those LFP cells, the other EX30 variant, which is the short range one, short range, short power, which still does 0 to 60 in about 6.5 seconds, but it's not the fun button mode. I like the fun button mode cars. So yeah, those ones are fine. They're not under recall. We'll be fine as long as we don't overcharge it. Right. Testing previous close again. So we're putting in high session high of the day. So that's your trade really up into there, but I'm not willing to take that. It's not enough risk reward for me. S&P 500 has got room. So S&P trade there looks good. So if you want to take that one up into the previous highs, that is 1.23, 1.24. With a stop underneath that recent low. So if this basically is going to run today, that's really the trade I would look to take. We are holding that session moving average though, so we are bearish from a moving average perspective. Not really that strong, is it? Look, stuck again there. We have stalled right at the previous close on the NASDAQ. It's kind of bullish but bearish at the same time, isn't it, today? Dow Jones has definitely stalled. This is a flipper coin day really today. There's no statistical advantage because we've got these massive gaps and we've got these huge huge opening ranges today. So this could go absolutely anywhere. You kind of just need to flip a coin and put a positive R on it. So if you fancy this short, just make sure that the next support, got that propulsion gap there, just make sure that the next support or resistance that you're going to aim for, which is likely going to be lower the day, just make sure you've got a positive R on it. It will play out or it won't. But not really too keen on taking trades from the middle of the range. I'd rather take a trade from either a high or a low, rather than try and get onto something that just is realistically, if you look at the NASDAQ's okay, but if you look at everything else for the last 30 minutes, we're literally going sideways, aren't we? So 1 minute time frame traders will be selling the highs, buying the lows of that range at the minute. Just stuck. So we've got an inside bar going in on the S&P. Kind of like the way that's holding that moving average at the minute. Again, rejection up at the previous close on the NASDAQ. If that NASDAQ closes down below candle 11, that isn't a bad little short. Oh. Unclick. So there. Back to Globex is 1.2, 1 to 2. Back down to the open. So if we're going to put in a bear day today, obviously we've pushed up. We'll pull back to the open and then we'll go bear. That'll be your wick. There's your open. We're going to put a bear candle in today. You should easily get down to that open. So 1 to 3 short there. So close under candle 11. Safer entry would be under candle 10 because that was technically a bear candle. Still bullish from a higher high, higher low market structure perspective. Those last 4 candles are all bullish. However, that's your first bear candle within them. First time the sellers actually got a little bit of progress, but got pushed right back up again. Just haven't got enough upside to take a trade today. Okay, so we've got an inside bar forming on the S&P. So that is a decent looking sell there below candle 11. Use the high of the day for a short. Closing below that candle 11 there is your market structure break to the downside. So if it goes down below there, it's a good short. Really struggling to get anything today. It's just not playing ball, is it? So there's your previous close statistic hit there. Previous close when we open inside, 70% of the time we hit that previous close. So there's your statistic hit there at 70%. So that was a good opportunity today. But if that hadn't have moved that fast, I would have been tempted to sort of try and take that. But it was too quick. We did like over half of the distance to that within the first 5 minutes before we'd even printed a candle. So there's no real way to get into it today, unfortunately. But looking to sell that high, I think if we get some bearish price action below the next candle. So basically I'm just looking for the bulls to run out of steam, very much the same as that trade there. So I'm looking for the bulls to run out of steam, bears to take control of the market. So if we can close below that candle 11, I'll be interested in a short. So this is your indecision. There's your push. There's your pause. I want to close below candle 12. And then that would be a nice confirmation entry. Trade it back down into here somewhere. On the NASDAQ, S&P, inside bar. So there's your symmetrical triangle on the 1 minute chart. So a break of candle 13's low is a short, and a break of candle 12 low, which we've just done, is a potential short trigger, and that's a confirmation. There's your MPAN. Trade it back down to the open. I'm going to try that. So that's 3R. So I want to see that lower that candle. So when you've got an inside bar formation, you can either take the break of that candle there, which is your aggressive entry. That is your conservative entry, breaking the previous candle in the inside bar setup. If that breaks, obviously it could well hold and then pop. But if it closes below that, that's confirmation. The bulls will run out of steam. The bears take control. We've also got the added advantage of obviously we're at the average price. So a lot of traders will be looking at that for shorts as well. So we might get a follow through on that. So if that triggers, I'll trade it, see if I can trade it down to the open. Probably take a partial at the Globex. The Globex high is where we basically opened today. So there's our gap fill complete. So looking for pull back down into there. Potentially could bounce out of that or retest the open. Globex low, previous daily low and session low. 30% chance of taking out the daily low. 34% chance of taking out the session low, and a 53% chance of taking out the Globex low. Now that's a little bit of an anomaly because the Globex low today is below the previous session of the daily. So probably the chances of taking the Globex low out today are actually the same as taking out the previous daily low, which is 30 and 34%. So probability of getting all the way back down to there today, not great. But retesting that area and that area, is doable. So see if we trigger on that. DOW's pushing up, doing completely the opposite to the rest as usual. NASDAQ 3-bar reversal. There you go. So there's your entry on the NASDAQ. Got 1 minute 40 left on this candle. Obviously, if this closes bearish below candle 11, it's a bearish reversal. If it closes below candle 12, it's a bearish reversal. But obviously now, because we've moved down so far, if it closes there, that is actually a bullish move, but a bearish candle. So it's kind of a mixed message, isn't it? So I like the look of that now. S&P triggered short. So trade that back down into the open. That's all I'm going to do today. Can't really find any trade opportunities to go long, so I'm just going to try a mean reversion trade. Holding that moving average. Decent risk reward. We'll pay for the loss this morning. See where we go from there. Gold break is underway. That's very close to hitting target. Just going to protect that. Just going to protect the money from the DAX this morning. So just move that to break even just in case. So very close to taking a partial on that. And break even anyway on it. So it just protects that capital. We're all-time highs on gold. So obviously there's no barometer really for where this is going. Could go anywhere today, couldn't it? It's all-time high. As long as that dollar is still coming down. So there's gold hit monthly range. Look at that. So gold has hit the average monthly range. We're on the 12th of the month. We've hit AMR on gold. Silver already by far exceeded it. Look. So silver's already done its monthly range. That's partly because we had that big rejection. Is that? Yeah, because we've had some fairly quiet moves, haven't we? So yeah, these monthly ranges actually are not going to be that accurate because we've had that whacking great month in December, didn't we? But gold out into all-time highs. So just be aware that's going to stall out at some point up here. And I was going to look at the dollar, just see what the dollar's doing. Weak. Not really weak against the euro. Not really weak against the pound. So it is weak, but not massively weak. So I would say, obviously, the gold has got a good chance of hitting that TP today. If we carry on weakness in the dollar, because obviously it's just a dollar cross. So there we go. So there's a nice clean close on that S&P 500. So there's your inside bar break to the downside. Nice rejection on the follow through candle. So it looks like the bears are stepping in now up at these highs. So this is either the bears taking control of the market or the bulls taking a profit take. So watch this propulsion gap to see if they add more size in here. We may well go into a range up at the highs or that Globex. So I'll take a partial at Globex. Probably take 70% of it off at Globex. And then see if we can get back down to the open. If it works, pretty much break even day. Right, I'll leave it there today. I'm back on Friday. So this back on Friday morning for the for the UK session. Trading the DAX. Very, very light week this week, as I say. So tomorrow is really your only opportunity for any movement forecast on the US dollar. Retail doesn't do very much, and unemployment claims comes out weekly, doesn't really tend to do an awful lot. So unless that's massively out, really the only market moving event we've got this week is that CPI tomorrow afternoon, which could go either way. If we get a 2.6 on that annual, it would push the Fed to drop interest rates potentially for 3 times instead of 2 times this year, which is the forecast, which will drop the dollar. So there is potential for some movement on the dollar tomorrow. Obviously, with Trump at the moment, with it's easier to list the countries he's not having a fight with actually than list the ones he is. So obviously, there's a hell of a lot of disruption available everywhere. And it's all kicking off. X is all kicking off with the UK because we're talking about blocking X over here. You know, it's all going mad in the world. So just be aware that this is less driving the market than everything else at the moment. Conflict is always going to trump any fundamental that you see. So just keep an eye on financial juice. Oh, Apple's just picked Google's Gemini to run AI-powered Siri. Okay. So just keep an eye on financial juice because you're going to see the moves before you see the news. Yeah. So the market, you'll see the market spike and then you'll find out why. That's again interesting. Greenland's prime minister, our security and defense belong in NATO. So Trump has said that they would like to buy Greenland. If not, they will move into Greenland anyway. And if necessary, they will use force. Obviously, what that is basically saying is you're going to start World War III because it's owned by a European country. So it's basically Europe against the US, isn't it? With this land in the middle. So goodness knows what's going to happen with that. But we'll just have to wait and see, won't we? But if it does kick off in that respect, it's going to be a massive problem. And you are going to see the markets tank. The stock markets will drop very quickly through the floor. So, yeah. Who knows? It's one of those weeks, years, months, this year, isn't it? So we're only in January. We're only in the 12th. And Trump's already starting World War III. But anyway, we'll see what happens. So I'll be back on Friday. Anything you need, let me know. I'll be in Discord or Telegram as usual. So if you're in the members, I'll be here Friday afternoon. If you're not, I'll be on YouTube Friday morning. All right. So see you then. Have a good week. And yeah, see you next time.
Click, clack, charts attack, candlesticks, they spark the track. Lead move silent, market crack. Profit stack, no turning back. Opening range, that's the game. Breakout hits, never the same. Algorithms play, but he rewires the frame. Banks whisper his name. Whipping forex, indices flex, numbers dance. What's coming next? Green lights flash, P&L stretch. Risk managed, he never sweats. West fact buzz and traders peep. Lessons deep, no time to sleep. Market's a beast, Lee's got the leash. Feast at the feast, his game's elite. Market structures is domain. Leads the king, they know his name. Breakout sharp, he fuels the flame. Trading charts is not a game. Pip by pip, he stacking high. Mean reversion, banks comply. Leads the reason markets run. Leads the reason markets run. Candles lit, wicks on fire, spread so tight the stakes get higher. Institutional flow, he's the supplier. Positions held till charts retire. Data feeds, news he reads, Fibonacci maps to see. Supply demand his mind exceeds. Trades ignite like lightning speed. Stop loss tight, take profit wide. Leads precision, unmatched drive. Liquidity pools, banks coincide. Retail's blind, leads the guide. Charts unfold, the stories told. Entry bold, accounts in gold. Trade by trade, the wins are sold. Market alchemy legends mode.